So if you have been following the channel, you might have seen my raw workout videos, where I just put a camera in front of me and then I just go through my workout while I record and I post it online on YouTube. And if you're wondering why the workout is very unconventional, it's because I don't intend to train like a bodybuilder. It has never been my goal to be a bodybuilder. And just my sharing, I'm going to share with you. Back in 2023, when I actually went back into the gym, it was of course, back then I was feeling depressed and I was feeling not confident on myself. So I decided to go back to the gym. And at that point in time, I only have one goal actually. And you might call me shallow or you can go anything. I want to build a super aesthetic body, like very, very lean and very, very attractive to female. That's what I aim for. And I want to do it. And I actually had a very, very good, I actually had a goal to do it like effortlessly, because of my prior bodybuilding powerlifting phase that I had. Not really of a powerlifting lah, but of the fitness phase that I had. So that was my main goal. And so that had always been what I'm trying to do. Therefore, my routine and my workouts are very unconventional, because I am not trying to be a bodybuilder. I do have bodybuilding friends. I do have very huge and jacked friends. And when we were to speak, to exchange like information and to talk, we have very different kind of opinions on things. But that was what I was aiming for. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. There are some things that I picked up here and there, bodybuilding tips, or rather information that I've built up that has helped me to kind of get to where I am now. I'm still a work in progress, but as you can see, it's not too shabby. So that was what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a very attractive male physique. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing, to be honest. And they want to have a certain look, they want to look good, they want to have a certain look. But actually, if you really think about it, the goal they are trying to go for, it's very skewed by social media and very skewed by Instagram and whatsoever. So they want to. So for example, there was a period of time where I don't really follow anime, but everybody on the social media or TikTok or whatever, they are talking about achieving the body like, what the hell is his name? Toji, like the back, like a Toji back. But you've got to think that's an anime, you see. The only kind of realistic anime physique and attractive physique that you can really achieve is maybe One Punch Man. To me, One Punch Man is more aesthetic than Toji. And that was what people want to achieve. And they are actually thinking that it's realistic without any enhancement. Like be it like whatever enhancement, can be surgery, it can be PEDs and everything. So it's actually the perspective of your goal that is, you are actually being, in quote unquote, hijacked, from Greg O'Gallagher, who's Kino Body here, has actually mentioned it in his podcast, that a lot of people have their goals hijacked. So when your goal is hijacked, you want to look a certain look, but it is not really obtainable, or it's not realistic. And for me, there's a certain look that I want to achieve, which is the kind of like the lean physique that, you know, Brad Pitt in Fight Club kind of physique. I'm very clear of it, you see. So I'm very clear that I want to look like that, and I know that that is the actual physique that will be attractive to female. Yeah, and also a lot of girls also have very unrealistic expectations of their ideal male physique. Like, yeah. So I won't go into that, but yeah, I can look into it. We are not meant to look like bodybuilders actually, and instinctively in our DNA, when we see someone who is freakishly, like I mentioned, if they are huge and big, like you're talking about 100 over kg, like, you know, like the Rock kind, like huge and big, we only feel that we get shocked, and in a bad way. It's a freakish reaction. It's a freakish reaction that you get. You're like, whoa, it's shock, not a nice reaction. You see, that's what my there was a friend who actually described it to me. What is the difference between bodybuilding and classic physique? And that was like 10 over years ago. So he was to say, in his words, a bodybuilder wants a reaction like this, like, what the fuck? They want a reaction like this. Classic physique, they want reactions from people that goes like, nice, good, or they want a very pleasant reaction. You see, they want a very pleasant reaction. They don't want a shock, but they want compliments, basically. Yeah, so that's the thing about physique and realistic goals. Got to be realistic, you see. And yeah, back to the topic. I don't really train for. I train for aesthetic. I don't train for bodybuilding. So, and that's what I learned. And when you are training for aesthetic, you really need to cut back on the legs. That's the most important thing. You got to cut back on your legs, especially the quads, because huge quads. You know, if you are standing. So, for example, if you are standing, right, you should be kind of like having a V shape. So, what happens is, from your lats down, if you look at the lats down, all the way to here, you form a V shape. So if you were to have the legs like, quads like protruding, I can't really turn it, but anyway, if you have quads like protruding out, you know, we form that X shape. So the V shape is what you want, not the X shape. That's the reason why you shouldn't really train so much of the quads. The quads will kind of spoil the symmetry. You know, if you were to go to Google and search, if you look at Frank Zane, like the Mr. Olympia 1976, I think, or 78. So I was like kind of like reading his, I was watching his podcast. So, and if you look at his image, you know, his physique was regarded like one of the best physique in bodybuilding because of the symmetry. And if you look at it, his legs are not huge, especially the quads. Glutes and hamstring wise, because it's more glutes and hamstring wise don't actually spoil the symmetry from the front. Yeah, it doesn't really spoil the symmetry from the front, and from the side it actually brings out a bit of the thickness for the glutes and the hamstring. So if you really want to train glutes, and for me personally, that's what I do also. If I want to train glutes, I want to train my legs, I focus more on my glutes and my hamstring. In fact, I focus more on my glutes, because the glutes is to me, if you think of it, the glutes is like the shoulders of the legs. Like to simplify, the shoulders of the legs. Okay, so for health reason, the hip bone and the glutes are the support for your entire upper body. So if you were to see a lot of people who are walking, a lot of old people, they are walking with their back hunch, or they couldn't walk very fast, or they walk they couldn't really support themselves. It's actually because the glute muscle is starting to at old age will start to lose muscle mass. So the glutes muscle are starting to lose, they are starting to lose their glutes muscle. So what happens is, because there are not enough glutes muscle on their hip bone, so it makes them unable to support their upper body, and that's why a lot of them are hunching. Because if you think of it, it's like a building, and like a 20-story building, and at the 8th story, there's like a little den, or like rather Jenga. If you have played Jenga before, if you try to pick up 2 blocks from the middle section, you will start to kind of lean a little bit. That's what is happening lah. So in a health standpoint, the glutes are actually very important. In a look standpoint, in an aesthetic standpoint, the glutes are very, very important, because if you were to really ask any female out there, it's actually one of the parts that they actually look at the man's ass. Yeah, and they are not shy of actually saying this. In fact, yeah. So the glutes is actually very important, and I think there's a lot of but of course it is important, but don't make yourself look like unnatural. A man is supposed to look like they have very big upper body. Yeah, they have huge upper body, like kind of very big upper body, very slim waist, and kind of like symmetrical legs. Yeah, kind of, there's a bug biting me. Okay. So symmetrical legs, not the other way around. Anything that spoils that natural kind of proportion is not very attractive. So yeah, that's why it's actually keeping it very simple. It's either you train for like if you are training to be a bodybuilder, and you want to be a bodybuilder in the sense where you want to compete and as a bodybuilder, or you want to look attractive. And I think that, yeah, set that goal. So depending on your goal, and when you work towards each of the goals, it's a different step that you need to take. Yeah.